Silent night, holy night, I'm going to sing and break your ears all night. No, just kidding. You know I gotta put a little humor in it. Hey everybody, I just am here, was hoping to share a little nice Christmas fire with you and a few Christmas thoughts. I wanted to let you know that I am just absolutely honored and blessed and, well, sometimes humbled by the amazing group of people that are in this community and all the things I've seen on all the channels going on that are helping people who are in need, who are homeless, without food, without shelter, without preps, with all the giveaways and all of the donations and charity things that everybody gives to. It's amazing, and I surely hope that as time goes on I can do more and build mine up to something like that. And I've got a great start. I've got an absolutely wonderful group of people in our young community that are just amazing, and I know that it's going to continue to grow, and that we're going to be able to do more and more, and I have no doubts about that. However, I wanted to sit here and, while we enjoy this fire, kind of go over the challenge of the 20 questions. Dum dum dum. Get ready. Okay. Where are all your fire extinguishers located? Well, we have fire extinguishers at every doorway. So front door, door to the garage, from the garage to the outside, next to the garage door opener, under the kitchen sink, by the back slider, and at the front door, all mounted where we can grab them as we're headed in or out to address a fire. We also have them in all of our vehicles, usually mounted right next to the driver or passenger side door, and in one case both. And when I get the bug out trailer completely finished, it will be in the trailer as well. So that's number one. Number two. Where do you keep your bug out bag? Well, that's an interesting question. The easy answer is I keep my bug out bag at the foot of my bed so that I can grab it and head for the door as I get ready for the morning. So sometimes it might find itself parked at the hall tree right next to the front door so that I can grab it and take it with me into my vehicle as I go about my day. Otherwise, it sits there at the front door. So that's where that is. However, why it's interesting is I actually have bug out boxes in every vehicle. When my kids are old enough to drive, I make them a bug out box for their vehicle, and those boxes are designed to, well, help you in situations if your car breaks down, those kind of things, survival situations. You should have what you need to fix just about what you need to, or get help, or survive for 3 to 7 days if you stretch it, but a good solid 3 days for sure. And that should allow you, especially up here, the biggest danger is getting broke down up in the snow if you're up in the mountains, which isn't often, but that's the reason why I built them, because we always have somebody every year that doesn't make it, and because they either did the wrong thing, left their car, weren't prepared, didn't have what they need to start a fire, burned their car down, you know, those kind of things. So that is what we have in our vehicles. Now, as the kids get older, they get upgraded with certain things like, you know, survival 22, those kind of things, various other tools that they may need to help them in their situations. So that was number two. Number three. Can you remember the last time you updated your bug out bag? Yes. It was about 3 days ago. And the reason being is because I'm going through all my bug out gear right now to help fill some boxes with my over redundancy, to help other people with the giveaway we're doing to maybe have a little start at prepping or to add to their bug out bags. So I went ahead and updated things and made sure to see if anything was out of date, if it was perishable or edible, and update it with some new stuff, that kind of thing. See if I was short on bandages and stuff like that, because that's what usually happens, is the things that you use more often get depleted and you get caught without. So the first time that happened to me, I stuck a notepad in the front pocket of every bug out bag and bug out box, so that as you take things out, you can just scribble it down as you clean up your trash, and that way you know easily you can grab that notepad and restock your box or bag at the appropriate time. Who else in your household or near you knows about your bug out plan? Well, I try to keep that somewhat OPSEC, as they say, but my family knows, of course, because we have to communicate. They also know what the bug out plan is if you're in a movie theater, restaurant, out at a park, in a concert, those kind of things. It's something we talk about on the way to those places, or if it's a movie theater, we've talked about it once or twice, just so they know what the situation is and what to do if a situation goes south. So, of course, my family knows. Now, my mag knows. We've already got pre-planned plans for that, actually a couple different plans. But we've only communicated lately once, because that was the plan, just to say, are you ready? Yes. And that's it. When the time comes, I just have to give a signal, and they'll be expecting me. Other than that, my neighbor near me, I'll say that, he knows because we watch each other's house and have each other's backs, and he is part of one of my secondary mags. So, of course, he would need to know kind of what my plans are. So, other than that, nobody else, not even really some of my family. They know I'll check up on them, but they don't know actual bug out plans. What I mean is extended family. Okay, number 5. How would you defend your home against an intruder? Well, it depends on the level of threat. If it's an imminent threat, of course, I carry all the time. I have pew-pews situated around the house for quick access. And that would be how I'd pretty much handle it, unless, of course, they hadn't made their way in. We have things like cameras to help defend that so that it doesn't get to that point. I guess that's considering defending your home, the camera system. I have perimeter alarms around the house of various types that alert me, as well as my dog, if somebody's snooping around where they shouldn't be on my property. Other than that, if it's a non-lethal situation, I try to always have a non-lethal option. I have a shotgun set up with non-lethal rounds that can be used to deal with a situation like that. I have things like tasers and pepper sprays placed around the house too, so that we can use those, hopefully, instead of having to take a life, because that's not something we ever want to have to do, but we're prepared to. And other than that, I just keep restraints, whether it's zip ties, handcuffs, things like that, so that once we are successfully defended, we can subdue and secure the threat. Number 6. How would you protect your home against an imminent natural disaster? Well, really here, the only imminent natural disaster we have is fires lately. And that's only lately, really, the last few years. And after the first time, I thought, we probably ought to have a defense plan for that. So other than the fire extinguishers, I make sure to have enough hoses and sprinklers so that I can run up on the roof real quick if we got told that we're getting ready for evacuation. And I can put the sprinklers up and on there and position them and fix them down, with sandbags, that kind of thing. And if we had to basically evacuate or bug out, we would uh, load up all of our gear into the trailer and the rig, and away we'd go and turn on the water before we left. I've seen that actually save houses, not only here but in California. And you just turn them on and let them run, and then leave, and it just covers. And you turn them on full blast, so they kind of go your whole roof and out into the yard and whatnot, and it just keeps everything soaking wet. And believe it or not, it works. Other than that, we might have high winds and things here, but nothing ever high enough. We've never had any kind of tornadoes or earthquakes or anything like that. Now, people will say that the Cascadias do. If that's the case, I think we're pretty far away from it, but other than that, we can of course just bug out and get to a safe location or up at our bug out spot until things calm down. Do you know what type of natural elements threatens your home and family daily? Yes. I thought about that question. That's a tricky one because a lot of people think there's not really much. Well, there is. Keeping your chemicals secured underneath your kitchen sink, especially when your kids are younger. Keeping drawers and things. We've all had those baby-proof things on our things. Now, my kids are older, but I still keep the chemicals underneath the sink secure. The chemicals in my garage, oily rags, I keep in a special container. The garage, I keep all of the chemicals in a special cabinet, as well as ammunition in a special cabinet. Those kind of things, those are what I would consider natural, I guess, in a sense. We do have black widows here, but as we all know, those aren't that big a deal. Just be sure to thump your shoes out, and if they're outside, and have gloves on if you're reaching into places. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot. I mean, if our water went south for some reason, we have water filters hooked up on the house. Again, we got cameras and whatnot like that, so I would think that I'd cover it. And number 8, could you suppress a fire without the fire department's help? Well, it depends on how involved the fire is, but I would think with the fire extinguishers being kept up to date, and the smoke alarms being kept up to date, and our carbon monoxide alarms being kept up to date, as well as having a system that alerts the fire department anyway, I think I could get on a fire soon enough to suppress it. If it got fully involved, of course, we would just bug out. But as long as it's not too big of a fire, I think with the fire extinguishers, we have some buckets of sand, things like that, we could keep those kind of things from happening or put them out quickly. Number 9. Are you confident you could survive up to 3 weeks without power? Yes, absolutely. At first, maybe not. We started out with just a small generator, 2,000 watts. That could be enough to probably keep a refrigerator and maybe the freezer going and maybe a few lights or something like that. But then from there, I went to a 3,000 watt generator, and then got a bigger 6,000 watt generator, and just recently, because it was on sale for $275, got a dual fuel 3,500 watt generator. So between all that and the fuel stores that we have on the property, should be able to keep things running. Now, for some reason, if I don't want to run those because they're noisy, and I don't want, if this is going to be an extended outage, I did just recently, thanks to Prepper Now, took his advice, got some solar panels, made my own solar generator. It's not contained necessarily, but it's a solar system. So, just like you did with the battery and the inverter and whatnot, we could run the refrigerators and other things that we need to off of that system. I do want to still upgrade it to at least another 300-400 watt panels. You know, get another 300 or 400 watts going in there, but for right now I think it would get us by. So yeah, I think we could easily make it 3 weeks. We have other things though for lights, like battery operated, gas operated, oil operated, for lighting, solar operated. For powering our phones, the same thing. We have solar banks for those. Yeah, I think that would cover it. Number 10. Are you confident you could survive up to 3 weeks without being able to leave your home or your bug-in place? Yes, easily. You know, here a while back when I found out that our friend of mine who's in the Guard said that they had for the last 2 years now been doing practice for the Cascadia event and stuff, and then the warnings went up to, instead of 2 weeks worth, you had to try to get 6 months worth. That's exactly what we did. Targeted 6 months with the goal of a year at least. And so yeah, we're well over, I'll just say, the 6 months mark, and well, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, easily. Are you confident? Oh, excuse me. Down one. Number 11. Are you counting on anyone else for your own survival? That's a good question. No. I'm not counting on anyone else, but I do think of me and my family and my kids and my better half as a team, and I don't rely on them, but I certainly plan on having their help. I can do it myself, but no, we don't require any outside help from anybody else. Would be the goal, unless things go totally upside down and something happens to me and my better half, then we might need some assistance, but my kids are pretty darn with it, so I would say no. Does anyone else count on you for their survival? You know, if I was honest about that, I would say that my kids are pretty with it. They have what they need to survive, but of course, they don't have the experience that all of us do, as having more years under our belt, so they probably aren't as confident. So I would say that they might rely on some guidance in that situation. But as far as any outsiders or anything like that, I of course will go check on my mom, and because she lives here and whatnot like that. And I've made provisions that if she didn't have what she needed, I could help out, as well as, you know, my sister up north in Portland. Yay, Portland, yay. But you would be limited, because we would have to, I would hope that they have themselves taken care of, and I've, you know, tried to push them towards that direction. So I hope that answers that question. I would say just mainly my kids might rely on me just a little bit. Okay, number 13. Lucky number. Are you willing to salvage supplies around you? Well, if you're talking about salvaging things like from my cars and things like that are here, or things that are here that I can tear apart to sacrifice to give us, say give us a better chance with something else or another threat, sure, you bet. Now, am I willing to go salvage say out in the neighborhoods or out in the city. I am trying to prepare. I think I've prepared so that I don't have to go do that. But if I had to and it went that long and I had to, you bet. I do have a plan for going out and being able to go out and get things. And in that case, I wouldn't rely on somebody else, but I certainly would try to plan to go out with another person. Never go out on your own if you can help it. And go in at least a pair to go out and salvage what supplies we can find. Would I take somebody else's? No. Not unless they were no longer in need of it. I think it's my responsibility to plan to take care of myself. Are you willing and prepared to utilize nature to help you survive? Yes, I am. I'm already prepared to do that if need be. I don't need to, but if I had to, I am prepared to do it. I am prepared in the fact that I am currently learning how to identify edible plants and mushrooms and things like that, although I'll steer away from the mushrooms to start with, unless I absolutely had to, because that's a little risky. And with the plants it is too, but around here there's some pretty cut and dried plants. And as far as going out hunting and stuff like that, yes, I'm prepared for that. That's something that I've done for most of my years, just about everything that you can hunt. I'm also prepared to do it at night so that I don't have to do it during the daytime when there's a bigger risk to me and also a less of a chance to actually get something, because the pressure on the animals is unbelievable and will increase if things get nasty. Okay. 15. How do you feel about the thought of being totally alone? I've been alone in the past, and I deal with it just fine. Of course, I have a family, so I don't think that's something I'm going to have to do, but if I had to, I'm prepared for it, I believe. It won't be fun. I prefer to have somebody else with me, but it's not necessary. How much water do you have stored right now? Well, let's see. About 300 or 400 gallons, with the ability to increase that by at least double. We're fortunate here to be on a gravity-fed water system, and I already have catchment systems in place. So, yeah. How much food and water do you have stored right now? Well, I kind of answered that earlier, but enough. I have enough to get me well past 6 months. That's what I'll say. I don't want to say how much past 6 months. Could be years or it could not. Number 18. How confident are you in your ability to purify water to drink? Well, absolutely confident. I not only have the usual Sawyer filters and life straws and pills and know how to make a filter myself, made my own 2 different styles of Berkey filters, which I'll be showing shortly in a video for everyone, but know how to do it with bleach, and I even did it once with the old-fashioned Indian way, where you either take grass and a cloth and just kind of drink through it in a puddle. Real funny until the partner that was with me, of course, picked up your heel and in face first you went. So, absolutely confident in my ability to do water, as well as start a fire in order to boil water. So, 19. What is the quickest route that is least likely to be overtaken by a crowd or others to get out of town? Well, that's a tricky one with this town. The quickest route, of course, would be the freeway. Our freeway actually goes on a viaduct straight over town, literally. It goes right through the middle of town almost, and it comes from the north to the south. That's an advantage and a disadvantage because in an SHTF situation, well, if we were in control, we could close off access, but so could the nasty people. So that being said, sometimes the quickest way isn't always the quickest way. So we of course have mapped out all the back roads on how to get around and past those entry and exit points, and sometimes getting past those could be quicker and safer than going the quickest way. And that's how I'll answer that one. And to add to that, depending on the situation, whether it'll be vehicle or foot, I'll make that determination at the time. What are your bug out triggers? Well, that's kind of a simple question. I'll be triggered to bug out when it's no longer safe to be here. Now, I don't mean at the exact moment it becomes no longer safe to be here, but I, of course, have a good network. That's the importance of having a mag and a network of communication with other people in different areas around the valley, because that way you can have a little heads up time to be able to move. Say, for instance, people are going knocking door to door to collect things or give you things in the arm. Well, I'll probably be good and gone before they get here. So that would kind of be my triggers. It'll be based upon my communication system and when and how soon the imminent danger will be here. So you tell me if I confidently answered at least 15 of those, because I guess if I did, I'm a true prepper. So I want you guys to let me know that down in the comment section. I want you to be sure to support all the other awesome preppers that are out there. They're also in my description section. Please check that. And give them your support, and like, share, and subscribe them, as well as please like, share, and subscribe this channel. I would really like to grow this into something that is giving back more than more than it takes to keep it up. So, which is very little, to be quite honest. So I would really like to do, my goal is to do things like I've seen some of the other channels do as they get bigger, and being able to give back. But as it is right now, I'll be giving back all of myself and my knowledge, and, well, hopefully some laughter in times like this, at the same time as giving that knowledge, because we all really need it. As well as I hope I'm always there to be empathetic towards people and share in their feelings as well, and give them helpful advice that helps them become more self-sufficient and confident and aware of what's going on around them. So that being said, please always remember to be safe, be secure, be aware of your surroundings, and be prepared for anything that may come your way. I look forward to seeing you guys again. We got the giveaway coming up. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the other videos I mentioned. And I look forward to seeing you again. I think I better go get my fire extinguisher, because I just thought I saw an ember jump out into the tree, and I think it's smoking. So I better go. Love you all.